What is Overwatch, and what is it about? If you happen to spend as much time in front of a PC and/or console as me, then chances are that some of your relatives ended up questioning what the heck you're even doing. And trust me when I say that trying to lay out what I do for a living is hard enough as is, but what really had me stumped was trying to explain to my mom what the game is that I made that living off of. There is an ongoing meme in my family about how I do radio, because that was the easiest way to make one of my cousins comprehend what I needed all of this audio equipment for. By now, my parents are avid YouTube watchers and understand the concept by which I make money, but they still have no idea what Overwatch is. And honestly, I can't blame them. As far as video games go, Overwatch is a fairly unique product. And even other games that are kind of like it, including those that came before, just don't have quite the same feel to them. So in today's video, I want to try to explain Overwatch to somebody who is not very familiar with video games as a whole. Naturally, this entire exercise is useless for my own predicament because neither of my parents actually speak English, but hey, maybe one of you guys can avoid an awkward conversation by simply redirecting them to this video. So, what is Overwatch? One courtesy glance at the store page will reveal the game to be classified as a team-based shooter. But don't worry, moms and dads of the world, because it isn't as bad as you might think. While shooter does indeed appear on the store page, the game doesn't actually rely on shooting mechanics as much as you might assume. Classic first-person shooters, otherwise known as FPS, are usually all about the raw mechanical act of aiming your weapon at the opposition, albeit in a strictly competitive manner. But because Overwatch only offhandedly includes those mechanics and much more prominently focuses on other things, this game and others like it have lovingly been dubbed hero shooters. So let's take a look at heroes then. The ever-expanding cast of characters in Overwatch features a wide variety of archetypes that you might be familiar with from other media. From the gritty ex-military type to the literal personification of an angel, the characters in Overwatch come from different walks of life and all sorts of different nationalities. And the keen-eyed among you will notice that there's more than just one animal in the roster. So if you ever had your child or relative shout weird things down the microphone along the lines of "Monkey in the backline, make sure you don't get booped by the hamster and look out for the frog," then I guess you now know why. Taking a closer look at the characters that do resemble classic FPS archetypes, you will notice that their weaponry of choice resembles Nerf guns more than anything that could actually harm you. While the cartoony art style certainly hammers some of the fact that this game is more about pretend violence than anything else, there's a wide arsenal of characters who are all contributing in different ways. Where Soldier 76 might prefer his AR Nerf gun, Reinhardt is going to hold up his shield and swing his hammer. Not every character participates in acts of violence either. For example, Mercy is a character that is built around dodging and surviving while simply healing her teammates. And we collectively decided not to talk about what the heck Moira is doing to heal her comrades. It's just weird, really. So how does your average round of Overwatch usually play out? Well, while there are different modes, Overwatch is a lobby-based game. That means that you have to queue up to find a match, play it out, and then you're sent back to the main menu to queue up again. There's no open world to travel around or anything, but it is to say that once you are in a match, you cannot pause the game, because it is strictly played online. There is no solo offline version. Every game mode in Overwatch is ultimately about capturing an objective, whether that be a static point you fight over or a moving payload you have to escort. Every team is comprised of 6 players that are split between tanks that are meant to protect the team, supports that are meant to heal, and damage dealers that, well, deal damage in a variety of different ways. The game is split between casual and competitive game modes, of which the casual ones usually take 6 to 10 minutes to complete, with the competitive variety being able to last up to 25 minutes, give or take. Chances are that if you ever heard your child or relative play Overwatch, that you witness them getting loud at one point or another. And you might be wondering, what is there in this game that could make somebody so angry? Well, as a team-based game, one of the most aggravating things is when your team does not play together. Players not sticking to the objective and instead going off to do their own thing is a well-documented issue in Overwatch. But ultimately, this is also what makes the game so fun. To me, there's no other game that comes close to this one when it comes to the sheer satisfaction whenever you do have a good team that plays together. Overwatch attracts players from all kinds of genres because it combines so many different mechanics. Even if you never played an FPS before, chances are that there's at least one character that is fun to play to you because they are all so unique. So you take the inherent satisfaction of how polished the game feels with the unique gameplay and visual style of the characters, and the fact that team-based games are incredibly fun when played properly, and you got yourself a good reason for why your child or relative wants to keep playing it despite the occasional frustration. But I'm not gonna lie to you, Overwatch is not an inherently skill-based game. Yes, the more skilled player will usually come out on top, but because the game combines so many different mechanics outside the FPS genre, there are definitely things that can take you out at random with very little effort required. And that's usually when the angry yelling ensues. You should also know that this game features what is called microtransactions. That means that even after having paid for the game, there are optional items that can be purchased. In Overwatch, that comes down to cosmetics in the form of loot boxes and the occasional skin that will be sold via the in-game store. While the community largely agrees that those are a waste of money because of how easy it is to obtain them just by playing the game, you might want to be careful when it comes to plugging in your credit card info. You should also know that the publisher has announced what they call a sequel in Overwatch 2. We don't know yet when that is going to release and how much it is going to cost, but it is something that's coming, and if your child or relative is hugely into Overwatch, chances are that they're gonna want to buy it. Ultimately, Overwatch is all about accessibility. The characters are all walking, lovable stereotypes that you can easily identify as, and it kind of started a huge push towards diversity in gaming, making developers realize that people care about representation in video games. From both a gameplay and narrative perspective, chances are very high that you'll end up liking at least one of the dorks that Overwatch has on offer. And when I say narrative, you might be wondering about what kind of story the game tells, but there really isn't much of anything. Nothing that happens in the game has any relevance to the story of the franchise. We do occasionally get some animated shorts and comics about Overwatch on YouTube and the likes, but none of that is in the actual game. It's just a multiplayer game set in that universe. Overwatch 2 is aiming to address that by adding set story content, but for the time being, we are all about that team-based, objective-focused player versus player experience. And I hope that after watching this video, you have a better understanding of Overwatch as a video game and also realize why somebody would enjoy playing it. And if you already know all these things, is there anything you would add to the description? How good or bad of a job did I do explaining it? As always, feel free to leave your comments down below. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you guys next time.